because we're probably looking at these.
Buenas noches, bienvenidos a Tiempo, Latino, un programa para la comunidad del oeste de Michigan y por supuesto el público en general. Esta noche tenemos como invitado a Mark. ¿Cómo estás, Mark?
Bien, Pablo.
Well, tenemos muchos temas. We're going to do this bilingual because Mark, bueno, él puede hablar español, Mark, pero...
Yo hablo español
un poco.
Muy malo y poco y más despacio.
Bueno, pues...
Dispénsame.
Bueno, buenas noticias, Mark.
No.
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
Impeachment. Destitución de... Ya saben quién, el de Trump. The Senate, the House of Representatives, finally agreed to impeach Trump, right?
Well, they agreed to have an official, actually they're working toward an official impeachment inquiry. That means, yeah, we have an echo. Very cosmic, but yeah, they're working toward having a vote to officially start impeachment proceedings. So they're calling it an impeachment inquiry, and the Speaker... Yeah, we have echo. The Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, is in favor of working toward impeachment at this point. She's in favor of it, and they haven't had a vote to begin their official inquiry yet. It's coming.
But there has been... Ya empezó el procedimiento que se llama destitución del presidente, with impeachment. No tiene una traducción al español exacta, pero esto es lo que va a pasar. Están tratando de destituir a Trump de la silla presidencial. I'm happy, Mark. Estoy feliz, Mark.
I'm worried myself. I am worried about it.
Well, Mark is worried because Trump is crazy and he doesn't want to resign and he doesn't want to accept the fact that
Your mic's not working.
he is...
Okay, well, keep talking.
Bueno, pues bueno... el micrófono de Mar tenemos unas fallas técnicas aquí, el micrófono de Mar no está funcionando, pero estamos muy felices. Bueno, hay muchas noticias, tenemos muchas noticias aquí ahora, hoy es el aniversario de la matanza de estudiantes allá en el Distrito Federal en Tlatelolco, 2 de octubre de 1968. 2 de octubre no se olvida, y pues se conmemora hoy el aniversario de la matanza de los estudiantes allá en la Ciudad de México. Inició con una batalla campal entre estudiantes de dos preparatorias, me parece de la preparatoria Isaac Ochoterena y una de las preparatorias nacionales de la UNAM, la Escuela Nacional Preparatoria.
Trabajo? Working?
It's working, I think.
Is it? Okay.
Working?
Is it working? Working. Is it working?
I think so.
Working?
Bueno, y
Frank, can you nod if it's working? We're still getting that same feedback.
Inició con una batalla campal entre los estudiantes, se fue complicando, la policía lo reprimió y de ahí nacen una serie de manifestaciones allá en 1968 en la Ciudad de México, y la gente, los estudiantes salen a manifestarse. I need water, Mark. Can you get me some water? Salen a manifestarse, varias manifestaciones multitudinarias, y finalmente el 2 de octubre los asesina el gobierno, el ejército mexicano con el batallón Olimpia, un grupo paramilitar entrenado por el ejército mexicano, que asesina a los estudiantes. Pero esto fue un movimiento extraordinario, los estudiantes realmente hicieron tambalear al gobierno mexicano con sus manifestaciones, con su humor, con su ingenio, con su inteligencia. Hicieron tambalear al gobierno y por lo consiguiente el gobierno de Díaz Ordaz decide asesinarlos con la complicidad del jefe de gobierno Echeverría. Y pues bueno, ese es el resultado de la represión que salta, ¿no? Thank you, Mike.
Is this one working? We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Working. Bueno, I was talking about today is the anniversary of the massacre in Mexico City, Mark.
The 1968 massacre?
1968 massacre in Mexico City of students.
And others, yes.
They were demonstrating against the government, and they were killed by the government because they were demanding no more repression from the police, no more repression from the government.
Actual free elections, all sorts of things like that, right?
Free elections in Mexico, democracy. The government of Gustavo Díaz Ordaz, the president of Mexico then, was very repressive, and then he decided to kill hundreds of students in Tlatelolco.
At the time, and until sometime in the 1990s, Mexico was a one-party dictatorship. The PRI.
Yes,
the Institutional
PRI,
Revolutionary Party, right? The PRI.
They controlled Mexico for more than 70 years. And this is one of the reasons why the students are demonstrating against this anti-democratic government. and their answer is to kill students. And then we can connect Ayotzinapa. Ayotzinapa is the school. It's a school in Guerrero, Mexico, the state of Guerrero, where some students secure some buses to go to Mexico City to demonstrate, to commemorate this massacre in Mexico City, and they were killed in November of a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Students that, you know, these are students are teachers, elementary teachers, school elementary teachers. They go to the little villages where there is so much poverty, and they help people. They help the students. It's very tragic events of Ayotzinapa.
Why was why was that? Why did that happen?
Well, the students decide to go to Mexico City to commemorate the massacre of students in Mexico City.
Was it that political? Is that why they were
It
killed?
was a political event. It's a political event. So they secured these buses, and they didn't know that one of the buses and you know, they were in Guerrero, in Iguala, Mexico, and one of the towns in Guerrero, the state of Guerrero. They went to the streets and take buses, you know, like public buses.
Mm-hmm.
So they did this. They didn't know that one of the buses have drugs from the narco traffickers.
Oh. So perhaps they found it, or they thought that perhaps they had found it.
It's like, you know, a bus is like a public bus is like on the street.
They left stuff on there.
They stop the bus. The students get into the bus and say, you know, we're gonna borrow this bus to go to Mexico City to demonstrate. That's what they do.
Borrow it? What, they hijacked the bus?
Yeah,
Is that what happened? They hijacked the bus. Well, they shouldn't have gotten killed for that. But okay, so it had something to do with drugs. Well, you know, in getting back to the impeachment thing, if we could, there's.
Oh yes.
Or do you
and
have
now, yeah, let's go back to the impeachment, and then we can make several parentheses to talk about other topics.
Okay, well, the impeachment thing is now, you can actually get the cover letter, 15-page cover letter online, probably. I have seen several pages, you know, I've seen the opening synopsis at least, and snapshotted it. And I don't have it here tonight, but, you know, it's pretty clear that Trump gave the investigators everything they need to impeach him already.
Yeah, I was listening today, NPR, and they were interviewing some expert, and he says, well, Trump doesn't even know the Constitution.
No, but that's not an excuse for breaking it.
He's so
there are
ignorant.
people around him know the Constitution. He knows the Constitution by now. He knew that what he was doing.
No, wait. Let me tell you this.
Okay.
He's so ignorant that he gave the transcripts to the Democrats.
Well, he gave.
Thinking that there wasn't nothing illegal in these transcripts. That's how.
Someone gave it, but. You know, it seems
they
would have gotten it anyway.
The whistleblower, right?
The whistleblower talked about what it was, and then when the White House released the sort of transcript of it, it matched everything the whistleblower said. So the whistleblower is concerned that this guy is trying to get Ukraine to attack his own political enemy. And he's saying, you don't get your missiles, you don't get your aid. $500 million, about $400 or $500 million was being held up for months in military aid and financial aid. And Ukraine
in
was
exchange for
this favor, reopening this already closed investigation into Biden's son. And Trump is connecting it to Biden forcing out this prosecutor who was a corrupt prosecutor according to the European Union and the United States during the Obama administration. And he was already out before Biden's son ever got into this company. So Trump just says anything. You know, he says anything. Maybe he believes some of what he says, but it's untrue. And so it looks like he'll be impeached because there's just, you know, every day he gets more and more outrageous. He's calling for executing the heads of the committees who are investigating him. He's saying, you know, maybe they should be executed. You know, isn't this high treason? You know, shouldn't we have a treason trial for Representative Schiff? You know, it's beyond bizarre. So,
but he's looking more desperate every minute, every hour. He looks like crazy, like a madman.
Someone here at GRTV told me that Trump actually said, "Why don't you investigate Pence?" You know, Pence was talking to Ukraine before I was. So I hadn't actually come across that before. You know, but it's truly strange. I do think that.
Well, let's say in Spanish now, Mark, for audience, the bilingual audience. Bueno, estamos hablando, Mark y yo estamos hablando sobre la destitución de Trump, que ya se encuentra en efecto una investigación para destituirlo. Trump le pide al presidente de Ucrania que a cambio de darle dinero del gobierno de los Estados Unidos, investigue al hijo de Biden, uno de los candidatos precandidatos a la presidencia de los Estados Unidos. Alguien en su administración se da cuenta de la llamada que le hace a este presidente ucraniano, lo denuncia y Trump, no sé si fue una estupidez o ignora realmente los procedimientos constitucionales, procedimientos del gobierno, se los entrega entregan los transcripts y todo se destapa este escándalo que por lo cual está siendo destituido. So I just explained that, you know, the transcripts are revealed, and now we have this big scandal.
Yeah, and so there's no real questioning of what the facts are. So the facts are that Trump pressured Ukraine to open an investigation that was already closed by a year, just to keep some kind of image of a scandal going against Biden and Biden's son. And in the meantime, pressuring Ukraine like this is using foreign policy for Trump's own personal political purposes. Plus, he's attacking an enemy. This is using an illegal maneuver to actually use his power as president to get a foreign power to interfere in our elections. It's a thing of value, doing this action.
Corruption, right?
It's total corruption.
It's corruption.
It is absolutely illegal. Trump is caught red-handed.
He's corrupting the president of Ukraine.
Yeah, and this is easier than the Mueller report. It's a very simple, and so he got away with obstructing justice. He got away with trying to use the Russians to, successfully it would seem, to win the election. All sorts of Russian corruption, and then all sorts of covering it up once the investigation started. And it became so complicated, and it dribbled out so slowly because of all the obstruction, that it looked like he was going to get away with it. But he's going to be impeached by the House of Representatives, probably by Thanksgiving. And when that happens, it will
I
go
think,
to the
I
Senate.
think the Mueller report is more complicated, Mark.
Exactly.
Because
so it's too complicated for
because
most people to.
it's an investigation of months.
And there's so much.
Where they trying to prove the Trump was working with the Russians to
But
influence the
that
elections.
was hard to prove. But they could prove
But
that
it was very hard to prove.
that he was covering things up, because they could
But
see
now,
him covering up.
But now we have a
Much simpler.
fact of corruption.
And perhaps even worse.
He goes to the president of Ukraine and says, I have some money for you, but
weapons for you to fight the Russians.
But we need a favor, though, right?
We need a favor, though. He says.
We need a favor, though.
So I'm the Ukrainian guy, and I go, hey, hey, Mr. Trump, we need those missiles. We're ready for our missiles. You've been, it's been 6 months now.
We're promising.
We're out of missiles to blow up Russian tanks, and now I'm Trump. Oh, yeah, that's fine, but we need a favor from you, though. And then he talks about investigating Biden and Biden's son.
And he says,
I'm going to send Barr.
I'm going to send you.
I'm going to send you Giuliani. You might think he's crazy, but he's a good guy.
The former mayor of New York, right?
Right. And William Barr.
He has been in the news lately, displaying his craziness.
Well, and he shows his cell phone, and he's got information on there. He's saying Giuliani, where he's talking to Pompeo in the State Department. So Trump is totally corruptly using the apparatus of the presidency to do, absolutely blatantly illegal and unconstitutional things. He's dangerous, but I think he will be impeached. I think the hope is that once he's impeached, I think there's a good hope that Trump has alienated so many people, and he's so damaging to the presidency and to U.S. foreign policy and to our democracy, and would be dictator if he can get away with it. And he's totally neutered, or is threatening to neuter the House of Representatives. This would mean there would be no United States if he gets away with it. But faced with Trump in the U.S. Senate, I really do think that so many, even Republican senators, if they're given the opportunity all at once to get rid of him, I think Trump has a real good chance of going, despite what people use as their common wisdom. I think that if he can just get impeached and it can just be a trial in the Senate, then when it comes right down to it, you will be surprised how many Republicans despise this lying fool who's dangerous. If Trump could be, he'd be our first emperor. It's
the real impeachment has to come from the Senate, right?
Yeah.
The
real removal from office. Yes.
The House
impeachment is the House of Representatives.
The House of Representatives is proposing the impeachment
by a majority. So if they get half plus one, he's impeached.
And then the Senate has to approve the impeachment, right?
Then the Senate would have an actual trial of Trump for the impeached offenses. And then they would either say, oh, we can't decide, or oh, he's innocent, or they would say, oh, he's out of office.
Bueno, pues así están las cosas.
That has to be 2/3, fully 2/3 of the Senate. So it has to be 67 senators.
3/4 partes del Senado tienen que aprobar la destitución de Trump, está diciendo Mark. La Casa de Representantes, que sería la Cámara Baja o la Cámara de Diputados, traduciéndolo al español, en nuestros países como México, there wouldn't be a problem impeach the House of Representatives impeaching Trump, right?
Doesn't seem to be. It looks like that will happen. That will happen.
La Casa de Representantes seguramente va a aprobar la destitución de Trump, pero la prueba de fuego, the test of fire, is in the Senate, right?
Yes, that would remove him. If 2/3, 67 senators.
67 senadores tienen que aprobar su destitución.
That would do it. 2/3.
Y eso es la realidad, Marco. Bueno, pues ahora les vamos a cantar una canción. Bueno, les voy a cantar una canción You know this famous singer from Mexico died?
I heard, yeah, JoJo or something.
José José.
Right.
Qué triste fue decirnos adiós cuando nos adorábamos más. Hasta la golondrina emigró, presagiando el final. Qué triste luce todo sin ti, los mares de las playas se van, se tiñen los colores de gris, hoy todo es soledad, no sé si vuelva a verte después, no sé qué de mi vida será, sin el lucero azul de tu ser, que no me alumbra ya. Cambio de página. Hoy quiero saborear mi dolor, no pido compasión y piedad. La historia de este amor se escribió para la eternidad. El triste, todos dicen que soy, que siempre estoy hablando de ti. No saben que pensando en tu amor, he podido ayudarme a vivir. He podido ayudarme a vivir. Cambio de página, cambio de página. Hoy quiero saborear mi dolor, no pido compasión y piedad. La historia de este amor se escribió para la eternidad. Qué triste, todos dicen que soy, que siempre estoy hablando de ti. No saben que pensando en tu amor, he podido ayudarme a vivir. He podido ayudarme a vivir. Muy dramática esta canción, very dramatic. But that was the kind of music that he used to play. Well, let's go back to the impeachment. Oh, let's make a parenthesis now, Mark. Let's talk about. They are. Wow.
Gumby fell off.
They are opening a prison in Baldwin, Michigan.
Baldwin, yes. A privatized prison for undocumented offenders, according to NPR, of petty drug crimes and immigration offenses.
Yes, and
for an average of 6 years? 6 year sentences for petty drug crimes or immigration offenses? That seems extremely harsh.
Well, this is more like to make money, Mark.
It is
You know,
private. It is a privatized prison. Yeah. Profits.
I mean, this has nothing to do with immigration. It's just to profit with the suffering of people, right? They want to make money with on the back of immigrants. I mean, these jails they incarcerate immigrants for practically for living here, right?
I bet the owners are Republicans.
And they
No doubt.
the group that is open is the name is Geo Group. Geo Group. This is the group.
The Earth Group. Geo Group.
It's well, I would say criminals, man, because they're gonna put people in jail for not having documents. I mean,
Or maybe they had some marijuana. You know, I mean, it wouldn't be called a petty crime if they were smuggling in large quantities of anything. So
well, but
it's just, it sounds just like possession.
it's a felony to have fake documents. Yeah. So how do they expect people to work here if you don't have documents? You know. I mean, of course, people is gonna have like fake documents to work. So with this draconian administration, I mean, they put you in jail right away if you have if they caught you with fake documents, and this is the pretext to incarcerate people, right? Most of these people is here because they are working here. Well, some of them they probably they are responsible for some crimes, some petty crimes, but once they open this jail, I think they opened the jail yesterday. In
to start taking in prisoners.
inmates, undocumented people. So to keep this business rolling, they had to arrest people for.
And give them stiff sentences. You know, perhaps you might find that, you know, the sentencing. I'm sure you find that it's encouraged to be as draconian as possible. The judges, the immigration judges, are encouraged by the Trump administration as much as possible to be severe. And
Yeah, any minor offense is gonna provoke the UN. If you're an undocumented immigrant, ended in this jail, right? I mean, they don't really care about the arresting real criminals, you know. They just want to make money, you know. Well, we have 1,500 beds in the jail. They had to be full all the time.
well, and
It doesn't matter if you are innocent or if you are committing a minor offense. They're going to put you there.
well, here's a tie-in between Trump and these jails and what's going on with Ukraine. Trump has actually, it's known that he's decided that tariffs and the border and being severe with clamping down on immigration at the southern border is going to get him reelected. And he likes the distraction of that while he does everything that that Putin wants done. I forget Putin's first name, but Putin wants
Vladimir.
Vladimir Putin. Well, anyway, Putin wants Ukraine. Trump wants to give Putin what Putin wants. So Trump, while he's been, according to MSNBC, people are saying that Trump is about to achieve an accomplishment for Putin where he is pressuring in these face-to-face meetings the president of Ukraine to surrender to the Russians, to make a peace treaty with the Russians on the Russian terms, which would essentially give the Russians some kind of acknowledged authority over those areas of eastern Ukraine, outside of Crimea, which they just took over fully, but to give those places either to Russia for annexation or to give Russia a lot of say in the eastern quarter of Ukraine itself, where the Russians are holding an occupation. They invaded, they're occupying, and they've been at war for 5 years. 20,000 people have died. And Ukraine...
In Crimea? Crimea, right?
No, in Ukraine itself, in eastern Ukraine. Crimea is part of Ukraine that the Russians just took over. But anyway, the news right now is that Ukraine is about to hand over something to Putin that Putin wants, that Trump wants Ukraine to give over. And also, this money that, that Trump is using to build the wall, that he's taking from the US military, is in construction budgets. And that was money to help to reinforce Eastern Europe, including Ukraine, against invasion. It was actually, a lot of this money was NATO money for the US to base Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, to set up cooperative joint basing and exercises and build facilities so that the US could reassure Eastern Europe that they wouldn't be invaded. That money has actually been taken from that Congress approved. It was actually Congress's idea to do this during the Obama administration, and that money has actually been sent to the southern border. So talk about a distraction. On the one hand, he does not necessarily want to, Trump doesn't want to point to what he's doing in Ukraine. He's giving Ukraine perhaps, good chance he wants to give it to Putin. He'd rather give it to Putin. And if he gets a peace treaty over there, forces a peace treaty between the president of Ukraine and Putin, he can end the sanctions. So Putin goes, good boy, Trumpy. I think I will give you a doggy biscuit, whatever that is. Maybe he gives him a Trump Tower. Maybe who knows what this mysterious relationship is with Putin. It seems that Trump is, the faithful servant of Putin. Whatever Putin wants, Putin gets. That's absolutely what it looks like, and it's incredibly disgusting.
Well, and let's make another parenthesis, Mark. I want to talk about this guy who came to Grand Rapids a few days ago. His name is Gil Peñalosa. He's promoting a healthier cities, friendlier cities. He goes all over the world, like
healthier and friendlier cities.
Friendlier cities. Mm-hmm. He's proposing to make trails for bikes, or sidewalks so people can walk on the street.
So they don't get fat and have heart attacks and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, and they prevent things like diabetes.
Right.
Diabetes. Well, I want to say that I have diabetes. I was.
This is relatively new.
The doctor just told me 3 weeks ago that I had diabetes. So I would like to tell to the people that it's genetic. Well, the doctor told me that my grandmother has had diabetes, so that's why I had diabetes. It's
lifestyle,
hereditary, right?
Lifestyle. Maybe you weren't playing soccer enough. Perhaps you ate too many hamburgers.
I'm a skinny, Mark.
Well,
come on.
I've seen you eating McDonald's before.
Bueno, but that's the point. That take care of yourself. Eat healthy, eat vegetables. Stop eating the crap from crap donuts.
Oh, don't be like Trump.
Don't be like Trump.
That's Trump cuisine, actually.
Vamos
yeah.
vamos a decirlo en español para nuestra audiencia que nos ve en español. Me acaban de diagnosticar diabetes hace 3 semanas. Pues me siento más o menos bien. He estado comiendo ya vegetales y tratando de llevar una vida saludable, haciendo ejercicio todos los días. He conseguido información para recetas de comida, cómo comer de una manera saludable, porciones pequeñas de comida, y pues me siento mucho mejor. I was feeling pretty crappy.
No processed sugar?
I stopped eating sugar. I don't eat sugar. I don't, sodas, sugar for my coffee. I don't.
No more,
sugar.
no more Juaritos?
Jarritos, no more jarritos.
Yeah.
Tacos, I can eat 1 taco, 2 tacos. Puedo comer 1 taco, 2 tacos, but that's it. 1 tortilla in each taco. Una tortilla en cada taco.
None of the 3 for 1 anymore.
No more 4 tortillas, 2 tortillas for taco.
Okay.
Small portions. I can eat anything, but in small quantities. No white bread, that kills me.
Whole wheat?
Whole wheat, I need to eat whole wheat. In the morning, I eat like fruit and coffee with milk.
Do they make, are there whole grain tortillas?
I don't know, I just like tortilla. You can eat, they recommend to eat half tortilla.
Okay.
Or 1 tortilla, small tortilla. But I eat 2, right? I mean, no big deal. And I'm doing exercise too.
Okay.
Estoy haciendo ejercicio,
And maybe if Trump did all that, maybe he suddenly would become more sane, maybe, who knows.
Chompy.
Yeah. I do hear that the mystery of Trump's eating habits, he can't be healthy, there's no way. But the mystery about Trump is
He's crazy because he eats hamburgers every day.
Trump eats, and he calls it fine food, McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken. And the reason that he loves these establishments, or as he said, very, very fine companies, excellent organizations, is because he's afraid of being poisoned. He's made so many enemies in his life. He's ripped off so many people that he owed money to. He's employed so many people and not paid them that he already, before he was president, it's said, was afraid of being poisoned. And so he started only randomly choosing Pizza Hut or Kentucky Fried Chicken, from distant locations. He has people who acquire Pizza Hut, McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken at random establishments for him so that he doesn't get poisoned. And he's still doing that to this day.
Bueno, my recommendation is eat vegetables. Vegetables, stop eating sugar, stop eating white bread, tortillas, what else? Meat, I can eat just a little bit of meat.
And if you eat junk food all the time.
Oh, don't eat after 6 p.m., don't eat anything.
Oh, right.
You can have a snack.
You're going to go to sleep, you're going to be inactive, and then it goes right to fat. The food that's in your system, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, that's why. And you don't want to end up like Trump. All of his eating probably is part of what makes him crazy.
That's why he's insane.
That's what makes him say, I'm the king of the Jews, or I'm the chosen one. It's because he eats so badly that his brain has had stupid seizures. He's had stupidity seizures that have really had an impact upon him, his overall mental health, and the health of our political economy.
Entonces, bueno, pues coman bien. Es mi recomendación a las personas que nos están viendo. I recommend to the people that's watching this show. Look at me. I'm a skinny, and
Well, you're working on it, yeah.
and I got diabetes because my grandma had diabetes, and my diet too, of course, right?
Of course,
But what can I do? I need to keep going.
Well, now in order to take care of yourself, you have to do things differently.
Oh, let's go back to Gil Peñalosa. This guy is, I really like this guy. He goes all over the world, like talking to people, telling them like promoting a healthy style of life.
Where's he from?
He's from Chile.
Mm-hmm.
From Chile. His brother is the mayor of. No, he's from Colombia. I'm sorry. He's from Colombia. I'm sorry. His brother is the mayor of Bogota, I think, Colombia.
Okay. And so he's
one of the
a
biggest cities.
healthy lifestyle promoting kind of celebrity? Is that what he is?
Yes, but he has good ideas. Like, for example, sidewalks. Let's be sidewalks all over the city so people can walk. He says, think about if it's good for a 8 years old, and if it's good for an 80 years old, it's good for everyone. Mobility, like public transportation.
Mm-hmm.
Public transportation can save the planet and save lives, save traffic, avoid traffic. Building trails for bikes. It promotes a healthy style.
We have a lot of nice bike trail. We have a nice bike trail system along the river.
But he gave the
Millennium Park.
example of Copenhagen.
Even more so, yeah.
They have these brutal winters like Michigan. Well, maybe they're more brutal.
Not
okay?
quite as bad, but yeah. They have
But
a winter.
He showed pictures of this city, and people's in the middle of the winter, people on their bikes, going to work, going shopping, going everywhere, and
We know
bicycle.
people like that in the middle of the
We
winter.
can do
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I mean, Gerard, he uses his
Yeah,
bike forever.
our current director right now back there is a avid bicycler. He doesn't actually own a car. He's been bicycling through blizzardy winters for, about 30 years now, I think. Yeah.
Bueno, estamos hablando, Mark y yo, para las personas que hablan español, estamos hablando de Gil Peñalosa. Es una persona que promueve estilos de vida saludables. Él promueve él aconseja a las ciudades que construyan banquetas para que la gente pueda caminar, que construyan un carril para que las bicicletas puedan desplazarse por toda la ciudad, otro carril para que la gente pueda caminar por toda la ciudad. Oh, close the streets on the weekends so people can walk, Like, for example, downtown, you can close a few streets.
Like walking malls, but
So people,
on the weekend.
People can walk,
Well, we had
I
pedestrian-only malls
I
for a
see
while here in Grand
people
Rapids
parking on
downtown.
the
Yeah.
fire lane because they don't want to walk from the space where they park to the store. It's something unbelievable, man. Like,
What? I don't get it. What do you think?
they park. You mean like?
In the fire lane. It's reserved
fire
for
lane.
Right.
Because they don't want to walk from their car to the store.
A few more feet, right?
A few, like 100 feet more or 200 feet more. It's
Too exhausting.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Too exhausting.
People in their little cars on Myers or the supermarket, like.
Oh, the carts? I thought those were people who couldn't walk.
Yeah.
Or do you think they're just lazy people?
Some of them are just lazy, man.
I never thought about that. Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
But I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. Like, they park. They say there is a sign, big sign. Don't park on the fire lane, and they park there. They're waiting for the people to come out because they can walk 200 feet to their car. You know, it's just unbelievable, man.
To make
They go to the store in their cars. People that live like 2-3 blocks away from the store, they had to use their car because it's too much work to walk 3 blocks or 5 blocks. Right? So this guy Gil Peñalosa, he's promoting healthy. I agree, Mark. I don't know if you like those ideas, but
oh, sure.
I wish these ideas were in place right now, so people can avoid diabetes, about hypertension, stress. He even show you some pictures where the people is in the middle of the winter on their bicycles, and then there is a lane for bicycles, and next to the lane there is this horrendous traffic on the city in Denmark. Yeah. It's possible, you know. He said, let's try for a year, closing a few streets so people can walk. If it doesn't work, don't try it again, but try at least 1 year. He said, well, there is lanes on the street for the bicycles, but the bicycles are basically protecting the cars instead of being the other way. The cars protecting the people in the bicycle. Trails, you know, like a lane, a special lane for bicycles.
We have that in Grand Rapids, don't we?
I mean, but he's proposing like close, like protect the lanes, you know, like with
barriers.
With barriers, protecting the
some kind of
the people in bicycles,
barrier that can't be crossed, right? Okay, well that's safer. You know what? It is kind of scary sometimes to try to use the regular streets, even though there are bicycle lanes.
I was on East Town on my bicycle. I go every day in my bicycle because I had diabetes. I want to have a healthy style. And this guy just goes like crazy, like I was on the bike lane, you know, just to intimidate me or harass me. There was a woman on the other side of the street, and she saw the incident, and she went like this to this guy. So we're almost done, Mark.
Well, I think we're going to be here for a while.
8 minutes. 8 minutes.
Well, I'm not sure that clock is accurate, but about, I suppose, yeah.
So let's keep going with the impeachment. Oh, let me tell in Spanish now what Gil Peñalosa is telling to people. Gil Peñalosa es un colombiano que es el hermano del alcalde de la ciudad de Bogotá en Colombia. Él está promoviendo un estilo de vida saludable. Él dice que se construyan carriles para las bicicletas. En Copenhague se hace, en Dinamarca, Copenhague ya se hace esto. Hay carriles protegidos con barreras para las bicicletas. Gente caminando en carriles especialmente para que la gente camine, y se promueve el transporte público, se promueve la construcción de aceras de banquetas para que la gente pueda caminar. A mí me parece que esto es son ideas fabulosas que se deben de implementar aquí en Grand Rapids but going back to these people that don't even want to walk to 3 blocks to go to the store or whatever. So let's go back to the impeachment, Mark. Well, I'm very happy, Mark. I'm very, very happy, very hopeful.
It looks
he's going to be impeached.
He will be impeached. Whether he'll be removed from office by the Senate, it waits to be seen. I think
it's impossible to hide the truth, you know. Well, the transcripts are there. the people involved is there. Mark Pompeo, the Secretary of State, he's Mark, right? Mark Pompeo. Well, his last name is Pompeo.
Yeah, I don't know what his first name
He
is.
say a few days he didn't know anything about the phone call.
Yeah, and then
And today,
2 days ago, it was revealed that I don't know where this came from. I will say that
he was listening on the phone.
It did come out that he was listening on the phone, and even after that came out, it took him like 48 hours before he admitted it. He only was admitting it, I think, this morning. So it's absurd beyond belief. It's incredibly dangerous. What's dangerous about this is that you have a president and you have people around the president who are entirely ignoring so far the authority of the United States House of Representatives. It has powers under the Constitution. We have a president who succeeds in remaining in office despite all that, it may change our form of government. It may destroy the United States itself, because I don't really believe that the United States can exist without its Constitution. I don't really think, despite what some people may believe, I don't think we have an American nation or an American people if we don't have a United States Constitution. And it's that dangerous. What Trump is doing, entirely ignoring the authorities, the inherent powers given by the Constitution to the United States Congress, could damage us to the point where we won't have the United States, in 10 years. We'll have we'll have another dictator after Trump, perhaps. Maybe Trump will go away and you'll have someone even worse than Trump exercising the powers of Trump. So it's incredibly important that Trump is actually removed. And I think, I pray that this guy is removed by the constitutional processes before it even comes to an election, because the precedent is so dangerous. Rome, for hundreds of years, had something kind of like a democracy. And then suddenly you had Julius Caesar saying, "Oh, I'm the Trump. I trump everything. I can do things that have never been done before. I am a genius." And then he destroyed the Constitution. Of course, he was assassinated because they said, "Oh, he would be king," and they killed him in the Senate. But then after that, they had emperors, because he changed the mold. And he actually reached down to the lowest parts of the population and gave them very violent entertainment, and he gave them free food. He gave the people what they wanted, and the people in exchange allowed him to destroy the Roman Constitution. And I think Trump looks at it that way himself. I do believe Trump has studied Hitler. He knows that if you just lie and lie and lie and keep making big lies, a lot of people will choose to believe those lies.
Well, I don't think he's going to get away this time, Mark, because
I think there's a good chance he won't get away with it.
The evidence is overwhelming.
It is. It's incredibly overwhelming.
This is not the Mueller report. There were 2 volumes of this.
Much
text.
simpler. As long as
this is just a phone call where he's asking for
8 times. He asks 8 times to investigate Biden, and oh, by the way, we need this favor: investigate Biden, investigate Biden, investigate Biden. Oh yeah, your missiles. Remember, investigate Biden. No, investigate.
He's violating the Constitution, right?
Yes, absolutely. You cannot use your power as the president to talk to.
We're leaving now.
And take money that was voted to you by the U.S. Congress for a specific purpose, and not hand it over for that purpose, and then threaten a country with the money that was already voted to them, unless they do you a favor, which is to attack your political enemy. So you're inviting a foreign country, a foreign entity, to interfere in our election. Totally unconstitutional. This man would be king. The Senate should pick up their stools like the Roman Senate and charge him, attack him with the stools, they really should. because he is that dangerous. He could change our world
Bye-bye,
like
Trump.
no other president.
Bueno, ya nos vamos, ya nos vamos. Thank you very much for having us in your computer or in your TV. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. And live long and prosper and obey the Constitution of the United States of America. It's the only one you have.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming, Mark.
Call your representatives. Tell them you're in favor of impeachment. Thumbs up for impeachment.
Llamen a sus representantes y digan, queremos que destituyan a Trump. Impeachment.
Impeachment. Impeachment.
Ya nos vamos, ya nos vamos.
Trumpy.
Espero que no haya sido muy confuso acá la versión. I hope I didn't confuse anything. All right.
Are we
That's
done?
it. Are we done?
Impeachment. Are we done? Maybe not. Okay, maybe you have time
keep
for another
talking.
goodbye time. What about in Spanish?
Pues ya hablamos de la destitución de Trump. Lo van a destituir, Mark. Esperamos. I mean, I wonder if what the Senate is gonna say or do, man. Like, you know.
It's unpredictable. Trump is these people are afraid of going against the rest of the Republicans, but individually, I think that many of the Republican senators must be afraid of Trump at this point. I mean, this guy is saying the craziest things. He's talking about treason trials, and he's talking about civil war. He's violating the Constitution all over the place. This man has been a criminal all his life. He just has never gone to prison for it. He's been a rip-off artist. He's been a money launderer for Russians. He's been perhaps like his friend,
I mean, he
the
has
pedophile,
he has
pedophile.
Business, but he loses the money, huh?
He's been a serial, sexual assaulter. He is a criminal. He's always been a criminal. So the Republicans elected a criminal, and they believed him. Most of them have believed him ever since. It's time for them